Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, I'm going to be reviewing my all-new Ford Mustang Shelby GT500. Before we get into this video though, as always, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. With that being said, let's get right into it. Under the hood, we have a supercharged 5.2-liter V8 that goes through a 7-speed dual-clutch automatic transmission. Fuel economy is 12 around town, and then 18 on the highway, with power outputs being 760 horsepower and then 625 pound-feet of torque. Before we go over the front end, I do want to mention, if you see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. So first off, you guys probably saw earlier, we've got the hood pins right there, which are so cool. And then we actually have this venting piece here in the center, which is functional, but it also adds to the aesthetic. And then popping down below that, the front end of the GT500 is so aggressive. You've got the fishtail accent lights there, and you guys can see the turn signal indicator down below. We've got the Shelby Cobra there front and center, and then you guys probably can't see, I'll show you a little bit later, but GT500. And then look how aggressive this front splitter is. And here's a close look at that Cobra and then GT500, and then you guys can see Shelby here on the front splitter, and yeah, it's pretty low. We're basically touching the ground here. And when you put it all together, this has to be one of the best looking Mustangs of all time. So coming on the side here, our timing wheel setup is 305/30/20 in the front, and then 315/30/20 in the rear. Pilot Sport 4S's, if you guys are wondering, and then look how cool these blacked out wheels are. And then you have the Brembo brakes, and I mean, those rotors are absolutely enormous. Some other cool touches, you got another Cobra here on the side. Notice the mirror cap blacked out, and then you guys can see the ground effects here on the side, just super aggressive. And then when you look at the side view of this car, it just looks absolutely menacing. So here is the key fob. You guys can see you've got the Cobra there on the back. We have our unlock function, lock function, remote start in the opening here for the trunk. And don't worry, we'll get some exhaust action a little bit later. Now, once we're inside the trunk here, it's just normal Mustang, frankly. There's like nothing too fancy. We gotta basically fix a flat kit and that's all. Now I've got this super aggressive spoiler here on the back end, all blacked out, and you guys can see here with the sequential taillights. Again, another Cobra logo there in the center. And then look at the diffuser here at the bottom with the exhaust tips, super aggressive. And then when you put it all together, I definitely love the look of this car. Now, compared to the track pack version, I think that this actually looks slightly better. Don't get me wrong, I love the huge wing on the track pack, but I think this is just more, I guess, aesthetically palatable, a little bit less race car. Now this is where things get a little bit disappointing in my personal opinion. So with the interior, this is just like normal Mustang. So if you've seen like GT door panel, then you've pretty much seen this. You can see with the window controls, mirror adjustments, and then there's a quick look at the mirrors themselves. And that continues to the rear seats, although I will say the leather here is actually really nice, perforated in the center, nice contrasted stitching. And then you can see here with the front seats, you got the Cobra logo there, and again, really nice leather. And this is the benefit of this over the track pack. The track pack has those cool Recaros, but they aren't nearly as comfortable. And then you got your power adjustment on the side. We got these pretty cool metallic pedals there, and then you guys can see with the light controls just up above. So here's our steering wheel with the GT500. We got the marker there at the top, Alcantara all around, and then there's leather at the bottom. Really cool paddle shifters here for that 7-speed dual clutch. Again, Cobra logo in the center. And then notice we have another little Cobra button right here. That's for your My mode. You can also adjust the steering here on the steering wheel and the suspension. And then we have a normal turn signal stock, windshield wiper stock. So we've got this full digital gauge cluster here, as you can see, and just like most digital gauge clusters, it lets you scroll through a bunch of different bits of info. You guys can see what I'm averaging when it comes to fuel economy so far, which isn't all that great. I usually just leave it to be the blank screen though, because I think that looks the best. Anyways, with suspension, notice that I can go from normal to sport right now because I'm in the normal mode, and then I can go from sport steering to comfort steering to normal steering, but I can change the drive modes. So first off, we've got a sport mode, and notice how it'll kind of change how the gauge cluster looks. And then we've got the cool one, which is the track mode, which changes it yet again. And then when you're in track mode, notice that we can change between sport and track suspension. So that changes up a little bit. And then we've got a drag strip mode, a slippery mode, and then back to normal. And then we do have exhaust mode. So notice we have a track, quiet, normal, sport. And there is quite a bit of a difference between like quiet and track, for example. We've got these cool gauges here at the top, but pretty much every other Mustang has that, and then you guys can see here with the trim on the dash. Backup camera is pretty normal. Trajectory lines turn with the steering wheel, and you can zoom in if you want. So here's the infotainment system, and yes, I haven't taken off the plastic wrapping quite yet. I'm going to leave that on for some time so this car feels new for a little bit. But you've got dual zone climate controls, response time's pretty good. It's not Ford's newest infotainment system, but it gets the job done. And then down below, we've got analog controls for like the radio, for example. We have heated and cooled seats, another benefit with these seats. And then you've got the controls for like the drive mode toggle, the exhaust toggle, the stability control, your hazard lights, and then your stop start button, and then little USB and a 12 volt. Now, probably the most controversial part of the interior, and that's the fact that this has the dial shifter here in the center. I honestly don't mind. It's pretty easy to use, and then you got the manual function right there. And then you guys can see the parking brake, a couple of cup holders, and then notice again with that gray trim, and then pretty normal center console. We have our chassis number here with the GT500, and then voila, we've got the glove box just down below. We've got our mirror here, and then just a darker colored headliner. So here's our window sticker for this GT500, and if you guys are wondering, yes, I did in fact buy this brand new. So this is the warranty I get here: 3-year 36,000 mile bumper to bumper, and 5-year 60,000 mile on the powertrain. Now you can see this is a 950A equipment group, and the only option is the gas guzzler tax, RIP, right? But you've got the base MSRP, and then after all options, total MSRP is $80,795. Let's see how this thing rips. Now before we set off, let's quickly talk about visibility. So you got visibility over the hood here, both of the mirrors, and then throughout the rest of your, yes, I understand it's nighttime now. Just my life. Anyways, let's set off. So we are setting off in the GT500, and I do want to mention that I will have a fun driving review on my exciting driving road that I always post videos on, but today is just going to be kind of like our initial impressions. And I mean, a big thing is the car, I just got it, and so like I need to get a few more miles on it before I like really, you know, push it. But one thing I will say is I prefer driving it in manual mode because this transmission is so responsive, and it kind of like, it just makes more sense in manual mode because it adds to like the theater of the driving experience. And let me know what you guys think about the interior at night. It doesn't have like super exciting ambient lighting or anything like that, but I feel like it looks pretty cool with like the gauge cluster at least. And actually I can't even see half the info, so I gotta like lower the steering wheel in a second. I will say, once you kind of like initially get on the gas, it does take a second for the dual clutch to kind of grab, which is interesting. Okay, we're gonna punch it a little bit. Not getting traction. Still not getting traction. Like, that was literally partial throttle and the back end, and you know, it is 32 degrees outside, so like we've got that happening. But like, this thing does not get traction. Like it's like, it's just, it tries, but like, listen to those sounds though with the shifts. It's so violent and it sounds so good. It's so fun. Like, I love the sound of this. I know some people might be asking this compared to the GT350, since I did own a GT350. It's kind of mixed. I do love the transmission sounds this makes with the shifts, because it's like, it's so sharp. Like, that sounds so good. But I will say that, you know, that engine, the fact that it revs to like over 8,000 RPMs, it is just on a whole nother level. And so I think this sounds great. I think this sounds better than like a GT Mustang, that's for sure. But I'm not sure it sounds better than a GT350. Now, when it comes to like the overall like driving, it's really comfortable actually. Now, when you go over bumps and everything, like, yes, this does have like really stiff, you know, sport suspension. Even in the normal setting that I have it in right now, it's still pretty stiff. But it's not as bad as I expected it to be. I thought it would definitely be a lot harsher and a lot more unforgiving than it is. Okay, we're gonna get on a little bit here. It tries so hard to get traction and it just can't. It's so fun. I can't wait until it's, you know, not winter and I can really rip on this, but I do plan on probably putting snow tires on this and seeing how that is. So overall, again, these aren't going to be amazing impressions because I just got the car, so we'll have more stuff as I own this. Initial impressions with this car, yeah, those downshifts. This car is so much fun. I've driven a lot of fun cars, a lot of muscle cars and everything. And here's kind of how I feel. The Hellcat, it sounds amazing with the supercharger whine. It's actually really comfortable. That's more comfortable than this. Like, the ride quality and everything's a little bit more compliant than this. But that doesn't handle like this. This actually handles really well. And then when you compare it to the Camaro handles just as well as this, I'd say, but it's a little bit stiffer. I feel like this is a little bit more comfortable than the Camaro. And then the big thing for me is the transmission. So in the Camaro ZL1, you can get a manual, which would be an absolute blast. I wish they offered a manual in this, but they don't. But when you compare this to the automatic ZL1, this is a lot more dramatic. Like, it's just like on a whole nother level. It's so sharp and aggressive, and I love that aspect of it. And so this feels like more of an occasion, if that makes sense. I think they're both fun cars, but I have to say, this is the most exciting out of the bunch. The Challenger is the most comfortable. The ZL1, you can probably be the worst driver in that and be able to handle it. And then this one's the most comfortable, or not the most comfortable, sorry, the most exciting rather. Let me know what you guys think about the new GT500, and I'm excited for the series to come. That's gonna sum things up for a video on this Shelby GT500, or rather my Shelby GT500. And with that being said, I'll see all of you in the next video.